In this Hong Kong Mahjong Let's Play live stream, we're going to be playing American Mahjong. No. Oh my gosh, I'm a creature of habit. We're not going to be playing American Mahjong. We're going to be playing Hong Kong Mahjong at Mahjong Time. We're going to be using Hong Kong old style scoring. There are 3 different variations of this scoring, and I'm going to share with you a short presentation on how to play using this variation, and it is all supported at Mahjong Time. So we'll do some gameplay with commentary so that you can see how the game is played. It's a lot like Rummy. So if you have any experience playing Rummy-like card games, you should have a short learning curve for Hong Kong Mahjong. There, of course, are some differences, for example, flowers and such, but with Rummy, you're supposed to get runs and sets. Well, that is very similar in Hong Kong Mahjong. So we'll get started with that. We're not playing Ricci, we're playing Hong Kong Mahjong. What I accidentally said is we're going to play American Mahjong, but no, I'm just a creature of habit. So just to be clear, we're going to be playing Hong Kong Mahjong, and this is the basic Cantonese version with Hong Kong old style scoring. There are lots of ways to play this game. Actually, I looked at a wiki article on Tom Sloper's website. He has a library of everything Mahjong, and one of the wiki articles I found was on the demographics of Asian versions or versions in Asia, and there were over, if I remember the number correctly, 12 versions that were published on this map. And incidentally, it didn't include Hong Kong Mahjong or Mahjong competition rules or Chinese official. So I'm thinking, let's say 15 different ways to play the game. And then if you add that to the 47 ways that are documented by Scott Miller in his book, I think it's called Mahjong from A to Zoo or something like that. Yeah, ZHU, Zoo. Mahjong from A to Zoo. There's 47 ways to play there. So there's over 60 ways to play Mahjong. And incidentally, I looked up on Google how many ways there are to play poker, and there's only 15. So that I found to be just fascinating. So let's get started. That map shows mainland China. It doesn't show Taiwan. Okay. Yeah, it is fascinating. And I'm sure that there are probably 100 ways to play this game. I'm sure there are variations that we don't even know about. All right, so I'm going to get started. You play Hong Kong Mahjong on Sundays, minimum 3 fan. Awesome, Edna. Yeah, that's what I'm used to as well, 3 fan minimum. And we're probably going to do a mixture of a 0 fan table. That's also called a chicken hand table. And then we'll play at 3 fan minimum tables as well. So you can see the difference in the type of hands that are being played. So let me get started with this. I'm going to share my screen, and I just want to show you a presentation so that you can get an overall view of how the game is played. Everything you need to know to play and win. The game was originated from the Yangtze River Delta in China in the 1850s, and eventually it made its way to New York in the 1920s by way of Joseph Babcock, who was an American businessman traveling in China at the time, and he wanted to import the game to New York. So he wrote the Red Book. This has come to be known as the Red Book, and he simplified the rules for Westerners. I'm sure he took some liberties on it, including naming the flowers. I believe he named them goofs, Goof as in Frank, S as in Sam, goofs. He named the flowers goofs, which is really weird to me. I don't know, maybe this was a thing in the 20s, but I thought it was really bizarre. Okay, so now we're going to just quickly talk about why it's similar to Rummy, and it's because of the melds. It's a melding game. So with Mahjong, it is a 4-player game, and it is a 14-tile pick and discard melding game, although you can play the hands that are concealed. But when someone discards a tile, you can claim that discard and expose the tiles from your hand to make a meld or an exposure. So you can do that with 3 different types of blocks. The object of the game is to be the first player to complete a hand consisting of blocks of 3 or 4 tiles, and I'll explain why, with a pair by drawing tiles and claiming discards, which require you to meld. And there are 2 atypical hands, but for the most part, 4 blocks and a pair. That's what you need to win. And then, of course, if there's a fawn minimum, you'll have to qualify for that as well. And we'll talk about that later. For each hand, the goal is to be the first player to complete a hand composed of 4 blocks and a pair, aside from the 2 atypical hands, which we'll talk about in a bit. The blocks can be either a chow, 3 in a sequence, and this is number tiles only. You could also have a pung, which is 3 of a kind, and then a kong, which is 4 of a kind. And there is a requirement involved with a kong that we'll also talk about later. The standard hand has 14 tiles consisting of 4 blocks and a pair. The 4 blocks can be concealed or melded. Concealed blocks are made by drawing a tile from the wall until the player is ready to win. Melded blocks are exposed after claiming a discard from another player. A discard can be claimed only from the player on the left for a chow. For a pung or kong, a player can claim a discard to complete either of these blocks, and turns may be skipped in the process. The game will continue with the player on the right. When someone claims a discard or exposes a kong, 4 of a kind, they have to get a replacement tile from the wall. And there are 3 different ways that the replacement tiles or where the replacement tiles come from, always at the end of the wall, but there's 3 different ways that portion of the wall is to be used. And depending on time, we'll talk about that. And so that is with a kong, you get a replacement tile. And also when you're looking at your hand, it might seem like you have an extra tile, so you have 15 tiles, but a kong is counted as a pung. So even though you have an extra tile, consider it 3 when you're counting your tiles, and don't be concerned that you have too many tiles. It's part of the game. The suits are dots, and these are also called tong, coins, circles, and stones, depending on the version or the region that you play in. The bamboo suit, they look like bamboo sticks. They're also called bams for short, strings, sticks, and so. And then we have the character suit. That's the Chinese characters that you see. These are shortened, or the abbreviation is crack. And they're also called myriad or wan. And the reason for from what I understand, the design of these tiles are based on the old money system where you have coins on a string. So basically you have, sorry about that, let me get that back up here. You have a string of 100 coins, and then 100 strings of 100 coins, and that's basically where all this came from. So the dots represent the coin, the bams represent the string, and the character or crack suit represents 100 strings of 100 coins. Okay, so then we have what are called honors. Honors are the combination of dragons and winds, and it can be any combination of those tiles to be considered honors. So an honor could be a pung of white dragons. An honor could also be a pung of south winds, or even a pair of either of those. If you have a pung and a pair, wind and dragon, that would be considered honors. Any combination of winds and dragons would be honors. There are 4 of each of these tiles, and these are the tiles that you play with. There are also bonus tiles. There are 2 groups numbered 1 through 4. The first is flowers, which are there. Sometimes there's a little acronym on them for American Mahjong sets, but in the Chinese sets, they typically have either characters or just numbers. You probably won't see bamboo, orchid, chrysanthemum, and plum. And those words are not going to be on them probably. So you'll just see numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And what you'll notice is that they're a little bit different. Some sets have 1, 2, 3, 4 in blue ink, and the other will be in red ink. In this example, we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 characters, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 Roman numerals. Those are the 2 to differentiate them. But each one, if you end up with one of each group, you can get extra score for that. And we're going to talk about that later. The other things that you will see if you get a set and that are used as part of the game would be dice, typically 3. And then you have an indicator that is placed by the person who is the first dealer. And then you have a wind of the round indicator, because the game is played in rounds where every player has an opportunity to be east in each round. And we'll explain how that works. There are also some kind of way to compensate winners or reward the winners. There you'll see a variation called bones or sticks, and these are used as payment, and they're kind of like poker chips if you think about it that way. You could also use other kinds of coins or even poker chips, and then you can assign a value to them. So if you wanted to play, for example, with a $10 bankroll, you could have values associated with each color and divvy out a number of these coins so that players would have $10 each, and that would be their buy-in if you want to play for money. One way to make this easy, the way we do it, I'll explain later when we get to scoring. All right, so let's talk about getting going with setup. Each player sits on one side of a card table, so there are 4 seats, and the dealer is player 1. To the right is player 2, then player 3, and then player 4, going counterclockwise. Each player is assigned a seat. So east is 1, south is 2, west is 3, and north is 4. Incidentally, the flowers correspond to these seats. So if you draw a flower tile and it happens to be or correspond to your seat, you'll get score for that. You'll get value for that as a bonus. So east flowers are numbered 1s, south 2, west 3, north 4. All the tiles are mixed and built into walls, 1 in front of each player, 18 wide, 2 high. And usually you'll see them pre-curtsied. So you push them, every player pushes them in at about a 30-degree angle. So you create a square in the middle of the table. And that's where the discards go. That's what it looks like, basically. You can see the wall, the end portion of a wall in there, and you can see where players have made exposures and they have their tiles in front of them. Incidentally, you see that there are no racks. It's because these tiles are big enough to stand on their own. So you don't need racks. Playing the game. The game is played in rounds represented by a wind. This is why you want to have some kind of a wind of the round indicator. Each round consists of 4 games minimum. If East wins, they keep the dice and stay as East. So you could have a prolonged round. When East loses, the dice go to the next person. So East rolls the dice to break the wall. If they win, they keep the dice. Otherwise, they lose the dice to the next player. When the dice get back to the original East, which is why you have that indicator of the original East, then a new round begins. So the first round is East round. Then the second round, when East gets the dice again, would be the South round. And then everybody would get to be East for the round. And then the next round would be West and North. So one of the reasons for that is there's value in the wins. If you get your seat wind, or you get wind of the round in a pung, you'll get value for that. And we'll talk more about that. They might be playing Filipino Mahjong, I think. That could be, let me go back there. I don't see any honors at all, so they may not even be playing Filipino Mahjong unless they're in the corners, because Filipino Mahjong, the flowers, winds, and dragons are all bonus tiles. So I'm not sure, but I think it's a good visual of what the table might look like. All right, so now moving on. So this is what it looks like when you set up the game and then break the wall and deal the tiles. You can see each color and then which player would get that. So if East rolls an 8, you count around the table the number on the dice, and then that player would roll the dice and break the wall. So East rolls an 8, you count around starting with East, ending on North, then North rolls the dice. And there may be different variations of this as well. But in this case, North rolled a 12, so they would count right to left, and then East would take that first block. And then every player would get 4 in order around the table towards the right until you get to the end, which is what you see over here on the far right in South's wall. And East would take the top 1 and 3rd tile, and then South, West, and North would each get 1 tile. So anybody gets to have 1 or 13 tiles, and then East has 14. So if somebody wins, they declare Mahjong, or who, or whatever word, depending on the region, and then they would announce the value of their hand and they would be rewarded. If there is a draw, meaning nobody wins, the tiles in the wall are depleted, then everybody just mixes the tiles up and they rebuild and start over. So does anybody have any questions about the fundamentals of the game and the setup? And if there are no questions, we're going to go into the player reference, which you should see a link for in the video description. There may be a link to a wiki article, which will have this quick reference. And this is where we're going to talk about the components of your hand, because depending on who you play with or where you play, there may be some requirements for the enabling you to win or qualifying you to win. 4 blocks in a pair is the standard pattern that you're going to go for. And then the 4 blocks can be 3 in a sequence or 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind if you get a Kong. And then flowers are bonus tiles. What happens if the last tile on the wall is a flower? Well, I don't think that's ever happened in my lifetime, but I don't think there's any recourse because the tiles in the wall are depleted. So the game would end, it would be my guess. If I drew a flower in the very last tile, there would be nowhere to get a replacement tile, so the game would just end. Okay, let me see here. Okay, but do you get to declare a flower or not? Well, flowers are not on, you cannot win with a flower in your hand. So when you draw a flower, you expose it right away and get a replacement tile. But if it is the last tile in the wall, there's nowhere to get a replacement tile. So the game would just end. I think the game would just end because it is an anomaly and there's no next step. So in that scenario, which I would imagine would be very rare, the game would just end. Unless you have another experience that you can enlighten us with. Okay, Carol is asking, can you use what could be a Kong tile in a chow instead of the Kong? Yeah, you have let's say that you're playing the game. Let me just go to my avatar here. So let's say you're playing the game and you have a pung exposed. Say it's a pung of 3 dots. And then you draw a tile and it's a 3 dot. You can keep it in your hand and use it with a 2 and a 4 to make a chow. You are not committed to declaring that or extending that pung to a Kong. You have a choice. You do not need to extend it. It's not a requirement. And incidentally, it's spelled CHOW, chow. I hope that helps. All right, so now let's talk about this player reference. This is what we're going to use to help us make decisions, especially if there's a minimum value that you have to have in your hand. And this is something that you want to think about once you have an understanding of the game. And what I think maybe we should do instead first is just play one quick game with robots so you can see how what a hand looks like and what it feels like to play the game. And we'll just play a very simple chicken hand, 4 blocks and a pair of anything, just so you can get a little frame of reference before we dig into the values of the components of a hand. Okay, so let me open Mahjong Time here. Okay, so to play this version, a special set of tiles is needed. Nope, you don't need a special tile set. Although you don't want to use there are some Mahjong sets that have special tiles, but you can play this version on any tile set except for a Japanese tile set because they only have 4 flowers. So any tile set that has 8 flowers, 2 groups of 4, you'll be able to play Hong Kong Mahjong with. For example, an American Mahjong set, you can play Hong Kong Mahjong with that set. Okay, so now let's go to Hong Kong Mahjong School. We're going to go to Mahjong School, and then we're going to go to Hong Kong Mahjong, and we're going to play with a practice table. So I'm just going to show you the very basics of a hand and what you can do. We're going to play a chicken hand, which means there'll probably be no value in the hand. And this is just to demonstrate what it looks like when you play the game. So you can see the tiles have been dealt. any player with a flower would expose it right away, and then you would get a replacement tile from the designated area in the wall. In this case, we have what's called, I don't want to use this phrase, but it's a ghost wall. There are other names for it, but I'm going to call it a ghost wall. And basically it is 14 tiles. It is the number of tiles that are in a winning hand, 14. That's why sometimes it's called a ghost wall. And you'll see what happens when we pick flowers from that. It'll be replenished. So this is one of 3 variations of the quote unquote flower wall. It's also called a Kong box. It's also called a ghost wall. And there's another name for it that I won't use because otherwise YouTube will demonetize my video. So you'll see as we draw from this wall that is a little darker in color compared to the others, that is a replenishing flower wall or ghost wall. And there are other names for it. So we've already had 2 players take their flowers. Incidentally, we are the dealer. We're in East seat, and you can see that by this label. You see the East symbol for the wind. To our right is south, across from us is west, and to our left is north. No worries, Sophie. I think it's verbal. I'm not sure. But anyway, you can see that we have a 1 flower. So we already have a bonus with our hand, and we didn't even start yet. So if you get a flower with your number on it, you will get a value for that. So in our hand, we have all 3 suits represented, and we have an honor. An honor is any combination of winds and dragons. In this case, we have a red dragon. For the suits, we have 2, 4, 5, 9 in BAMs, pair 4. We have 3, 8 in cracks with a pung of 3s. Then we have 2, 4, 5, 9 in dots. And at this point, I'm not going to talk much about strategy. We're going to save that for later. I'm just going to talk about getting to 4 blocks in a pair as quick as possible. This is a very fast-paced game. So you want to figure out first if there's a minimum. If there's no minimum, you get to the quickest win possible because everybody else is going to be doing the same thing. So 4 blocks in a pair of whatever you can get. We have a potential chow with a 2, 4. We could also maybe pung the 4. That would leave a 2, 5 hanging out all by themselves though. So I don't think I would do that. I think I would save the 4 for a 4, 5 potential chow. So we have 2 potential chows with our BAMs. We have a pung already with a 3 of a kind. That's called a pung. A single 8, 9 BAM, 8 crack. Those, not much we can do there until we draw tiles. And then we have a 2, 4 potential chow or 4, 5 potential chow. So if you count those potential blocks and the block we have in our hand, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 potential blocks. We still need to have a pair. So we have some work to do here. But we're going to take discards if we can to make chows at this point, and we'll need to look for discards from the player on our left to make a chow or draw it. So let's start by discarding this red dragon. Any single winder dragon will have no use. It's useless until you have a pair so that you could maybe claim a discard to pung. So we're going to discard that.
Red dragon.
And here we go. We're playing the game now.
6 bamboos.
Players go towards the right.
2 bamboos.
We're going to just take
5
whatever we
bamboos.
can. Okay, now we don't need that. Oh, look, we got a chow in there now. 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to let probably this 9 dot go.
9 dots.
9 circles, 9 blocks. Someone I know called it plates one
8
time.
bamboos.
In America, we
3
call them
bamboos.
bams, cracks, and dots.
5 bamboos.
We already have a 4, 5, 6. Here's one thing somebody taught me that I'll never forget. And this is a little bit of strategy here. Don't break a chow to make a chow unless it leaves a tile for another block. So here we have a 4, 5, 6. If we were to call that tile for a chow, it would leave a 4 bam that could potentially be used with the 2. So we could call that for a chow and still leave a 4 with a 2, even though we can only complete that with a 3. So for the sake of the sort of an object lesson, I'm going to go ahead and chow. In a live game, I probably would wait because a 2, 4 is tough to complete because you need one tile in the middle. And we'll talk a little more about tile efficiency later. I'm going to go ahead and chow for now.
Chow.
So you see, we could do a 2, 4 or a 4, 5. So it left tiles for something else. And that's when it would be okay to do that. If you broke a chow and you're left with a single tile, that's when you would want to wait. Just as a little bit of
9
strategy.
bamboos. 1 bamboo. Pung.
Okay, so let's see if we can get more chow tiles in
3
here.
characters.
Okay, let's Kong so you can see what happens with a Kong. If you click that, and incidentally, in some in-person games, there are some house rules where you get an immediate bonus payout for a Kong.
Kong.
Not when you play here, though. Okay, so we have a single east, and this incidentally is our seat wind, but as a single tile, it's not going to help us at all. And number tiles can be used as a chow or a pung, so I would rather keep my number tiles and let the east go.
East wind.
Hello, Denise.
4 bamboos.
So we're looking for chow tiles. We still need a pair.
9 bamboos.
This 8 is completely
8
isolated.
characters.
There it goes right there. Might as well let it go.
8 characters. Two characters.
We
One
need
character.
3s and 6s.
3 bamboos.
Okay, so now we could chow, and that would leave an isolated tile, but we don't have a chow yet. So let's go ahead and chow. And we could do either one. The 5 is in the middle of the sequence, so it'll give us a little more efficiency later if we draw another tile. So let's chow with a 2, 3, 4.
Chow.
And now we'll discard, let's say the 1 since it's out.
1 character.
So we have 3 blocks out,
1
2
character.
chows and a Kong. That Kong
2
is counted
characters.
as 3 tiles, which is why it's set up this way.
9 characters.
So technically that's 12 tiles. Otherwise it'll look like you have too many tiles.
North wind.
So it's counted as 3.
5 characters.
All right, so we still need a pair, but we do have the potential for a chow with the 4, 5
5 characters.
in dots. It'd be really nice to get a 5 or a 2 for our pair.
5 dots.
So we can't do anything there. There's a 2 bam discarded and a 2 bam in a chow. So we're going to let that go.
2 bamboos. 7 bamboos. 6
Okay,
characters.
you're going into some strategy, Sophie. I don't want to
6
overwhelm
dots.
people with strategy yet too much. I'm going to chow,
Chow.
and then we'll discard the 5.
5 bamboos.
So we're waiting on a 2. This is called a naked
6
wait, by the
characters.
way.
2 dots.
There, Mahjong.
Mahjong.
So we got our pair. I think we got pretty lucky there. So this would be a 1 fawn. Fawn is the value, a 1 fawn hand because of our flower. This particular hand has 0 value. 0 value. It's a chicken hand. We did get a little bit of a score because of that flower alone. So that's how you play Hong Kong Mahjong. I'm going to go to the presentation now, and I'll show you how you can get a higher value hand by choosing more discriminately the blocks that you use to create your hand. So we're going to talk about the components of a hand. All right, here we go. On the back of this player reference, there are some basic instructions on how to complete how to set up a game, and a little bit about the deal and the play. Very high level, but enough to get you started if you want to teach other people how to play the game. This player reference should give you everything you need to know to play the game. So the first thing that I want to share about this player reference is the standard scoring, which is on the right side, starting with flowers. If you have no flowers, you're going to get a fawn for that. A fawn is the value, let's just say the value of a component of your hand, or the value of your hand as a whole. That would be some number of fawn. So if you have no flowers, you're going to get 1 fawn for that. If you have your own flower or season, so remember the 2 groups of flowers, 1 through 4 in 2 different groups, flower or season. If you get the number that corresponds to your seat, you will get a fawn for that. Now, if you get all 4, you will get 2 fawn for that. Basically, you get a fawn because you have one of your own flowers in there, but you also would have all 4, which is a bonus. So you would get 2 fawn for having 1, 2, 3, 4, a whole group of flowers. That's also called a bouquet in some versions. Winds and dragons are of value, more so dragons. A pung of any dragon is a fawn. The seat or the winds are valuable if they correspond to your seat or the wind of the round. So if I am east and I get a pung of the east wind, I would get a fawn for that. If I am south and I get a pung of norths, I won't get anything for that. The wind of the round, because the game is played in rounds, if you get a pung of the wind of the round, you will get a fawn for that. So let's say I am south and the wind of the round is east, and I get a pung of east winds. It's not my seat, but it is the wind of the round. So I will get a fawn for that. So you get either a fawn for a pung of your own or the wind of the round. And that's also known as the prevailing wind in some documentation. Then you want to consider your whole hand. What is the composition of your whole hand? If it is all chow and a pair, you always got to have a pair. If it is all 3 in a sequence, you get a fawn for that. If it is all pung, all 3 of a kind, you get 3 fawn for that. So you can see an all pung hand is going to have a higher value than chows. Anytime you have a chow in your hand, it's going to bring the value down. The next one is all 1 suit with any combination of winds and dragons. That is called a half flush, and that is 3 fawn. You could also have 1 suit only, and that is called a flush, and that is 6 fawn. So the closer you get to 1 suit, the higher the value of your hand. And just remember, 1 suit with honors, it could be any combination of winds and dragons. For example, you could have a pair of dragons with all 1 suit thereafter. That would still be considered a half flush. If you have a pung of east and a pair of green dragons and then the rest of your hand is bams, that's still a half flush with a combination of winds and dragons. Okay, so next you want to consider how you win for score. If you win by getting a replacement tile, it's also called a supplement tile. If you win with that tile from that supplement wall, the Kong box, flower wall, ghost wall, whatever it's called, you will get a fawn for that. That would be a lucky pick. If you win with the last tile in the wall, that is a fawn. If you get the last discard, that would be a fawn. If you win by self-pick, that would be a fawn as well. And then there's one very rare situation that can occur. I think, if I remember, I think this has happened one time in my life. And it was in the beginning of when I first learned the game. So it's a vague memory. But if somebody has a pung and they pick a tile that can extend it to a Kong, as they're making that extension by putting that tile by the Kong, or to extend it to a Kong, and it is a winning tile for another player, they can declare Mahjong with that fourth tile. That is called robbing a Kong. And it can only be done at the moment when that pung is extended to a Kong. It's very rare that it happens, and it's very exciting when it does happen. That would be a fawn. There are penalties. If you win by self-draw, the other players pay double. If you win by discard, other players pay, but only the discarder pays double. With the scoring, the player who declares Mahjong receives a payout from their opponents. You use that scoring table that I'm going to show you in a minute to convert the fawn to points. And if you have chips, it's typically a 1-to-1 value, but you can determine whatever denomination you want. It's up to the group. So this is what the right side of the scoring card looks like. And also you want to consider the wind of the round. That can add value. Remember the prevailing wind. If it is the wind of the round, don't forget to check for that. Some people overlook it. This is what the fawn conversion table looks like. It's called a fawn lock table. I believe it's spelled L-A-A-K, fawn lock table. And it converts your fawn to points. So if you have a 3 fawn hand, that is worth 8 points. And then you go to the right for the payout section, and you see that if a person discarded it, they would pay double that value. So they would pay you 16, and the other 2 players would pay 8. If you self-picked, everybody would pay double that value. So fawn lock is what converts from fawn to points. 10 fawn is the max. All right. Now let's go back to Mahjong Time, and we're going to play a higher value hand. And then I'm going to show you a progression of ways that you can, or give you a visual of hands that are more and more valuable to get just kind of a framework in your mind. Okay, so let's play again. And this time, maybe we could try, well, let's see what the hand is made of. We could either maybe do all chow, or maybe all pung, half flush, or something like that. Let's see what we can do based on the tiles we get. All right, so here we have a fair number of winds, including our seat wind, pair east. I would try for a pung of that for sure. We also have 2 pair in here, 1 dot pair, 9 crack pair. Those could become pungs. And then we have 2 flowers that are not ours, so they're valueless. We have a 2 and a 4, summer and winter. It doesn't matter if they're seasons or flowers, it's just the number. And we're seat 1, so it doesn't matter. So let's start by focusing on the crack suit because it's what we have most of. I would also consider playing all pung if we can get one more pair. Usually I'll go for an all pung hand if I have 4 pair. So in this case, I think I'll discard the 3, either the 3 or the 9. The 9 is on the edge of a sequence, so you can only do a chow 7, 8, 9. Same with 3, but a 3 you could do 2, 3, 4 or 3, 4, 5. So there's a little more wiggle room with a 3. So and with the 7 as well. So let's discard the 9.
9 dots.
This is a 0 fawn table, but we're going to try to do a 1 fawn minimum here, just so people can see what it's like to think or be more discriminate of what you draw or accept or claim, let's say. So we're just going to try to do either maybe a half flush or maybe all pung. I'm hoping we'll get another pair in here. So there's a 5. This is now when I would let the bams go.
3
I still want to hold the 1 dot pair because if we get another pair, we can switch to all pung, which may be a quicker build. We do have a 3, 4, 5 chow in there.
3 bamboo.
Or we could do 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. So we have some wiggle room here.
8 dots.
Yeah, this would be a nice big hand if we can get it. So here's a 1 dot out. I'm going to pass for now because if we're playing where we need at least 1 fawn, if we do mixed suits, that's going to drive our score down. Until I get that east pung, I don't want to claim anything yet. I would be more likely to claim a discard for cracks because I could always throw away or sacrifice the 1 dot.
9 characters.
Okay, now here I would pung that.
Pung.
And I'm thinking that we're going to play a half flush. And that way we can chow, pung, and then we just need a pair.
7 bamboo.
Because we have a 3, 4 potential chow, 5, 7 potential chow. Then we have a single white dragon in the south.
4 dots. South wind.
Okay, so there's a white dragon and a south out. There's only 4 of every tile, and there are no jokers.
9 bamboos.
Okay, 3.
3
We want cracks. We're drawing dots at the moment.
7 dots.
And I'm still keeping that 1 dot pair because if we can get 1 more pair in here, we could switch to all pung.
1 character.
Oh, we got skipped. This is where turns get skipped at times. Don't be discouraged. It's the nature of the game.
4 dots.
You can see the flower wall here and that it's being replenished.
2 characters.
Okay, let's chow.
Chow.
And I would let the 1 dot go.
1
if we're trying to get a hand of value, I don't want to mix suits in this case because we have chows in the cracked suit.
4 characters. 1 bamboo.
We need cracks. One of these Windsor Dragons would be really nice because we still need to have a pair. And also,
1 dot.
as far as another bit of strategy to think about when you're just learning, do your best to not be waiting on an honor for your win. You want a number tile to be your winning tile because a lot of people will hold honors for value and you may never get it. So for example, if I hold the white dragon or the south for my pair, somebody else may be holding a pair of dragons to get a pung of dragons for a fawn. So I may never see that honor tile. So do what you can. For example, this 3, we
One
now have a
bell.
3, 5, 7. We could turn this into a chow with a 6 or a 4 and be left
6
with
dots.
another crack tile or suited tile. That way we're not going to be
7
left with a
dots.
south or a white dragon to be our winning pair. So
9
there's a
bamboos.
south out and a white dragon out. Okay, now there's a potential pung for us. So let's let the south go.
South wind.
I probably should have thrown the dragon, because
North wind.
now we're set up nicely here. We could pung 7 or
2
east.
bamboos.
We need a 4 crack for a chow, and that's it. So we're very close. We're 1 away from ready.
5 characters.
No, we need a 4 crack.
Pung. White dragon. 4 characters.
Okay, we're going to chow,
Chow.
and we'll discard this white dragon.
White dragon.
And now we're ready on
2
a 7
bamboos.
crack or an east. This is called a double wait. So
7
we're
dots.
waiting on 1 of 2 tiles that will complete a pung and leave us with a
7
pair.
characters.
There it is. Mahjong.
Mahjong.
These are robots, incidentally. And one thing that you'll notice, since Sophie brought up that the player on our left is feeding us, you can see that actually this looks, they only, I don't, oh, this is interesting. The way usually the tile turned to the side is on the left of 2 to indicate who discarded it. The player on our left gave us the 4 crack and the 2, because you can only claim a discard from the player on your left. But this 9 crack, it could have come from the player across from us, which is usually what I would think when I see the tile in the middle. Oh, I see the 2, 3, 4 has the tile on the side. I don't know why this 4. I think they're putting it in numerical order, which is not the way it's done in real life. The 4 should be on the other side of the 3 to indicate that the player on our left discarded that tile. So if you look over here, you can see the 5 came from me because it's on the left. The 1 crack came from the player across from them, and the 6 bam came from the player on their right. Because of where the position of the turned tile is, it indicates who discarded it. And incidentally, that is it is a method used in Riichi Mahjong, which is Japanese Mahjong. And it's also used in Mahjong competition rules, which is also called Chinese official. It is typically not part of the Hong Kong Mahjong game in real life. It is part of the game at Mahjong Time because they share the same code. Okay, so now let's go back to the presentation, because we're going to talk about scoring. And I'm going to show you how to have a higher value hand. And then we're going to play with people, and the dynamic will change. It's going to be very fast. So let's first talk about scoring and what higher value hands look like. We're going to do a progressive approach to this with examples. The first is with a chicken hand. If you play with beginners, typically there's no minimum, 0 fawn required. You could win with any combination at all. 4 blocks and a pair of anything for the standard composition of a hand. So this would be an example of a chicken hand. We have a pung of 3 dots, a chow 1, 2, 3 crack, chow 4, 5, 6 crack, a chow 5, 6, 7 bam, and then a pair of dragons. This hand has 0 value. That's called a chicken hand. And the reason why this hand has 0 value is because they're mixing a pung with chows in different suits. When you have different suits, your value will go down. If you mix chows and pungs, your value will go down. This is a mixture of that devaluation because there's a mixture of different suits and we have a pung with chows. So that is a chicken hand. This is an example of a little more value with this composition. We have where this hand where all the blocks are chows. 2, 3, 4 bam, 5, 6, 7 crack, 5, 6, 7 dot, 6, 7, 8 bam with a pair of nines in bams. Because all the blocks are chows, this would be a 1 fawn hand. The value is lower because compared to others that you're going to see in a few minutes because we're mixing suits. Here's another example of a mixed suit hand, but it has higher value because it's all pung, all 3 of a kind. When you play all pung, it doesn't matter if you're mixing suits, you're still going to get 3 fawn. And then there's ways to get more value, but we'll talk about that in a minute. This is a half flesh. This is also a 3 fawn hand. It's 1 suit, mixture of pungs and chows with a pair of Windsor dragons. Or really, it could even be, let's say, a pung of red dragons and a pair of 8 cracks. It doesn't matter what the mixture is. It's anytime there's a wind or dragon or wind and or dragon where you have 1 suit represented, that's considered a half flesh. We have a chow, 1, 2, 3, chow, 4, 5, 6, chow, 5, 6, 7, pung, 8, and then a pair of dragons. So this would be a half flesh and 3 fawn. It's a pretty hand. Here's another one. Now this one has, let's say this player is in west seat, player 3. They have a pung of their seat. So in this case, this would be a half flesh with a pung of the seat wind. So this would be a 4 fawn hand because they get a fawn for their seat wind. That's why you want to know what seat you're in, because if you get a pair of your seat wind and someone throws it or you draw it, you could pung and that would bring value to your hand. Here we have a 2, 3, 4 bam, 4 bam pung, and a 5, 6, 7 chow. So 2 chows and a pung. Then we have a pung of the seat wind and a pair of north. Here's another example. This is a higher value hand, 6 fawn. We have a half flesh. There's 1 suit represented, which is a half flesh. And then we have pungs of honors. 2 pungs of dragons, a pung of the wind of the round in this example, and a pair of west. So that is 6 fawn. 3 fawn for half flesh. We have 2 dragon pungs, and then a pung of the wind of the round. Which hand are you talking about? 3, 4, 5, 6. 3. Oh, thank you. Yeah, good point. I'll fix that, Sophie. Thank you. All pung is 3 fawn. So this would be 9 fawn. I'll fix that in the presentation. Thank you for pointing that out. All pung is an additional 3 fawn. Or what I could do is change that 1 to a chow, which I'll probably do. I'll probably change the one dot pung to a 1, 2, 3. So it's still a 6 fawn hand. This is a half flesh because it's 1 suit with Windsor dragons. Any combination of winds and dragons. Let me just fix that real quick. Oh, I can't. Okay, never mind. Slideshow, current slide here. I was going to fix that 1, 2. So I'm going to turn this into a chow because it doesn't have to be all pung. I wanted this to be a 6 fawn hand. So that could be a 1, 2, 3, let's say. Okay, so here's another one. This is a 6 fawn hand. We have a pung and then 2 chows, another pung. So 2 pungs, 2 chows, and a pair. But it's all 1 suit. So this would be a full flush. Flush, 1 suit, all 1 suit. This is a special hand This is where you have all 3 dragons represented, 2 pungs and a pair. It's called 3 little dragons, and you get 4 fawn for that. The other 2 blocks, it doesn't matter what they are. It won't affect the value of the hand. It's very special to get all 3 dragons, 2 pungs and a pair, 3 little dragons. This is a big hand right here, 9 gates. It's 1 through 9 with a pair. Okay, now I need to read this because I don't know if I have not played this very often. I want to read the definition of this. Oh, I know what I can do, because I mix this up sometimes with Wright Patterson Mahjong. It's a hand called Heavenly Gates, where you have 1 1 1 9 9 9 and then a sequence 2 through 8 in the middle with a pair of simple tiles 2 through 8. That would be 9 gates, and I'm not sure if it is the same. So let me just read it from a source. Mahjong. 9 lanterns is also what it's called. 1 1 1 9 9 9, sequence of 2 through 8 with any tile paired. That would be 9 gates. And I know this is in other versions of the game. I was trying to find the definition of it for Hong Kong Mahjong. I didn't know it was called 9 lanterns. You can have multiple possibilities, so it doesn't have, it could be the 1 or 9 could be the extra tile, because then you could use it as a chow. So there are 9 possibilities apparently of 9 gates. Let me just show you what I'm looking at here. Also known as 9 lanterns. Here are the possibilities. 1 1 1 9 9 9. They got an extra 1, so they made it a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So you can rearrange it to make it work. Here's the example in my hand right here. 1 1 1 9 9 9 2 3 4 5 6 7 pair 8. So that's what we have here. Okay, so now here, this one is big too. All honors, basically no number tiles at all. Pungs of honors, any combination at all. 10 fawn. All terminals are 1s and 9s. Simples are tiles 2 through 8. So in this case, all terminals would be a 10 fawn hand. 3 little wins, it's similar to 3 little dragons. If you get pungs of 3 wins and a pair of the 4th, that's a 10 fawn hand. And it doesn't matter what your other block is. 4 big wins, 10 fawn. 4 big wins, 10 fawn, big hand. 3 great scholars, 10 fawn, pungs of all 3 dragons. That's a biggie. Then we have some beautiful hands called Jade Dragon, Ruby Dragon, and Pearl Dragon, all the same hand, but different suits. Pung of the corresponding dragon with 3 pungs and a pair of the corresponding suit. Same hand, different suit. There are 2 atypical hands. One is 7 unique pair. So 7 pair of anything. Now, if you end up with 7 pair with a half flush, your value will stack. So you could have a very high value 7 pair hand. In this case, we have mixed suits. So it's just 4 fawn. But you could do, let's say, half flush with 7 pair. That would be a 7 fawn hand. Okay, I'm trying to do the presentation here. 3 little wins is not a thing in HKOS. In the scoring sheet, or no, it's 4 little wins. little 4, I think. Big 4, little 3. Oh, that's a little 3. Oops, it's a typo because we have all 4 wins in here. So I'll change that to a 4. It's little 4. There's big 4 and little 4. Okay, so back to this. Flush and 7 unique pair. This is an example where you can do 7 pair with 1 suit as an example to get higher value. This would be really hard to do. And this is the other atypical hand. It's called 13 Orphans. It's 1 of each 1 and 9, and then 1 of each Wind and Dragon with any tile paired. So here we have the red dragon paired, but it could be any tile paired. This is a really fun hand to play. And that's what the scoring sheet looks like from a bird's eye view. On the right side, you have standard scoring. On the left side, you have all the special hands that we just talked about, aside from 3 or 4 other situations. At the very bottom, there's an explanation of the scoring and then the fawn lock table and the payout. Everything is on that player reference so that you can teach other people how to play and help yourself through the learning curve. There's another hand in here that is special. It's called Hidden Treasure, and it's where you do 4 concealed pungs and you pick your winning tile. It's very rare. You could also have 4 Kongs and a pair. That's also very rare. Heavenly Hand and Earthly Hand are both rare as well. East has 14 tiles, so they could draw a winning hand from the deal. When East discards their first tile, if another player wins, that's called an Earthly Hand. Okay, so now where I got all these rules, I got these rules from Mahjong Wiki. That's my source. So there are different variations for the game depending on the region that you play in. The area that I was used for my source for that player reference was the Hong Kong Old Style Overview on Mahjong Wiki. But it was also taught to me by someone from Hong Kong in 1990. And that was the rule set she taught me. Okay, so now we're going to go back to play. Oops, I want to leave that open because I have a couple typos in there that I need to fix. Oh, let's see. I'll do it later. Okay, so now we're going to, for the rest of the session, we're going to play with humans. It's going to go faster, so brace yourself. Here's a table right here. We're going to play 1 game at a time so we can exit and kind of talk about it. Okay, so here we go. Hong Kong Mahjong, or it's called Hong Kong. 0 fawn table. You see that right there? 0. So we're going to win with anything we can because everybody else is going to do the same thing. This is a chicken hand table. We're going to probably go for whatever we can gather. And even if it means a 0 fawn hand, that's what we're going to do. Later, we'll play at a higher point table so I can show you the difference. It's a slower game and a longer game typically. These 0 fawn tables are super quick, 5 minutes maybe. Speed, oh yeah, you want to take whatever it is a free-for-all, take what you can get. So here we go. Now I'm going to have to talk fast because we're on a timer. I would play all chow. We have a 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 5. I would let these wins go. We're South Sea, so it doesn't really matter. I'd rather hold number tiles. We have a 1, 2, 3 chow, 2, 3 potential chow in the cracks. We have a 3, 5, 6. We could maybe pung the 3 or use it as a pair. Then we have 2, 6, 9 isolated tiles. Okay, let's chow.
Chow.
Let's get rid of the east.
East wind.
Number tiles are more
1
efficient,
character.
So I want to let the single honors go.
8 characters.
They're useless until you get at least a pair. Then you can use it as a pair or a pung.
North wind.
Okay, so we'll let that go.
Red dragon.
So now we have 2 potential chows. 3,
Pung.
5 crack or 5, 6, but
North
we could also
wind.
maybe pung the 5. I probably wouldn't though, because it would
North
leave a
wind.
3 and a 6 isolated. So I would
4
probably
characters.
chow, which we're going to do. 3, 4, 5.
Chow.
And then I'm going to go ahead and throw a 2.
2 dots.
I guess the 9 probably would have been better because it's on the edge. But I'm thinking about
8
my
dots.
winning tile. If we draw
4
a
characters.
5 or a 7, that'll be a nice chow,
East
a
wind.
potential chow. And then the
1
9
character.
could maybe be our pair. Someone would be more likely to
2
discard a 9 than
characters.
they would a middle tile. And that was my
5
thinking on
characters.
letting the 2 go. But the 2 is so close to the
4
1,
characters.
it probably would have been fine. Okay, so we're going to discard that, or we're going to chow.
Chow.
So now let's just prove it. I'm going to throw the 6 because
6 dots.
that tile is probably held for efficiency by
dragon.
our opponents, and the 9 will likely be given up because it is
2 dots.
inefficient. There goes the 2 dot. I should have kept that 2 dot, but oh well.
2 dots.
So we're looking for, so like the same thing with this 5. That 5 is probably going to be held by other players.
West wind.
I'm thinking the 9 will come out.
9 dots.
There it is, Mahjong.
Mahjong.
So let's just quickly look at everybody's hands so I can show you why I kept the 9 as my pair. We got an all chow hand. So we didn't even play a chicken hand. It just happened to work out for us. So here we have we have a dragon pung, and then they're set up for chows. They have 1, 1. All the other tiles are 2 through 8. So they're holding tiles for efficiency. The 1 is already in a chow, which is probably why they kept the 1. And then let's see here. We have 9 bam pair, 8 bam pair. They're probably going to go for all pung, I would think. Over here, they're probably going to do all pung as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got all their blocks in here. Pair 1 dot, pair 9 crack, pair 9 bam, pair 4 bam, pung already. So they're ready to rock and roll with an all pung hand here. Okay, so let's play. Okay, you cannot have a 5 tile run. It's only 3 in a sequence. 3 in a sequence. There is no 5 in a sequence. So 1, 2, 3. If you had the 4, 5, you would need a 3 or a 6. So you can't do a 5 tile run. That's not how it works in Hong Kong Mahjong. You have to do 4 blocks in a pair. The blocks can be 3 in a sequence or 3 of a kind. And then of course you need a pair. You're welcome. Shall we do one more? Let's do one more. Quick Mahjong. Let's go here. Somebody's at that table. Oh, okay. There's a 1 round with 8 point. That would be a 3 fawn minimum. That would take an hour to complete that. I guess we could jump over there. Do you guys want to jump to a 3 fawn minimum table, or do you want to wait? We could be waiting a while is the thing. Round, it could take an hour or more depending on how fast people play and how the dealer keep is what it's called. Oh, here we go. Okay, so we're playing at another chicken hand table. So we can win with anything. Anything. We're going to go for the quickest win possible. We do have a pair of dragons, so we could get a dragon pung maybe. I would try for dragon pung and then chows. So there's a 4. I would let the single honor go.
North wind.
We have a 2, 3, 4 chow in there. But you can also break this up into 2 potential chows. 2, 3, and 4, 5. There's a 6, 8, 9. The 2 is isolated in bams. Okay, so now we have a 6 in there. Let's let this 9 crack. Let's let the 2 bam go. Oh, come on.
2 bamboo.
It wasn't letting me click it.
South wind.
Yeah, this is 0 fawn again. 0 fawn table.
2
Can you
characters.
explain how Mahjong Time scored the hand on the next win? Yes. They basically converted the fawn to
4
points, which is
characters.
that fawn lock table. Okay, so we can chow 2, 3, 4.
Chow.
So now we have a 6, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, closed weight, 9 crack isolated. So we'll throw the 9.
characters.
The 4, 4, 5, 6, we need the tile in the middle. That's
3
called a
dots.
middle weight or closed weight. It's not ideal. The 4, 5 is what you want to get.
Chow.
You want to try to get all your blocks to be like
5
this 4, 5,
characters.
because you can complete it with
5
one of 2 tiles, a 3 or a 6.
South wind.
We have a 7, 8, 9 chow, 6, 7, 8 chow, or 2
7
potential
characters.
chows. So let's just see what comes in.
Green dragon.
We want to
2
pung.
characters.
We want to pung a red dragons.
1 dot.
Now somebody else could
7
be
dots.
holding this pair of dragons, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to hold that for a pung of dragons,"
Chow.
which is why you don't want to bank on that value until you
3
get it.
dots.
So we're at a chicken hand table. It's okay
8 dots.
if we have an all chow hand with a pair of dragons in the end.
East wind.
Let's see if we can get this red dragon.
Mahjong.
Oh, somebody won already. Our dragon was in the wall. So they're going to have a nice hand here. Okay, so here we have 4 fawn. A 4 fawn hand. Excuse me. They have the wind of the round. They're in north seat, but the wind of the round is east, and that's why they have value there. They have a pair of dragons, which you don't get anything for, but they have 1 suit represented. That is called a half flush when you have winds and dragons as well. So they've got 3 fawn for 1 suit and honors. They have a pung of the wind of the round, so that's why they have 4 fawn. Then they had the point or the fawn converted to points at 64, and the player to our left discarded it, so they paid 32, and then we paid 16 each. So 4 fawn is 16 points. The discarder pays double, the other players pay single. Okay, so let's exit. So any questions about hand development, about looking at your hand and seeing what kind of hand you could play? It's going to depend on if you're playing at a 0 fawn table or if you're playing at a table where there's a higher fawn minimum. Your mindset is going to need to change so that you can qualify to win. Do you want me to play another chicken hand table, or would you like me to play a higher at a higher value table? So we can talk more about hand development and the when, where, why, how of that. Or we could also 10 fawn minimum. No, thank you. That would make for a really long game, probably. Okay, let's see. Higher fawn. All right. So let's join. Let me sort by mini points here. And we'll do an 8. I'm going to have to create my own table here. So we'll do. Okay. Okay, now we're going to create the minimum points is 8, which means it's going to be a 3 fawn table. Anybody in the live stream is welcome to join us. We're playing at MAHJLIFE table. This is a 3 fawn minimum, which equates to 8 mini points, or 8 it equates to 8 points, an 8-point conversion. Let me just go here real quick while we're waiting. Let's see. Three fawn minimum is 8 points. Okay. With that fawn lock table. 3 little 4. Okay, and then 1, 2. Crap. Okay, I'm just making those little corrections with my presentation. I got it corrected there. So those boo-boos in my presentation have been corrected. Thank you, Sophie, for helping me with the editing there. Oh, look, we have Joey and we have Wes. Welcome to the, oh, what happened to Wes? Yeah, every hand needs a pair. Even 13 orphans and 7 pair. There's Wes. Oh my gosh, I need to assign people. Okay, here we go. Oh, no worries, Wes. Okay, break a leg. Okay, so this is a higher value table. I'm going to go for score. So I'm going to look for half flush, full flush, dragon pung, wind pungs, value wind pungs. I'm going to look at tile efficiency as well. We have mixed suits, so this is going to be a tough call for us. Right now we have no flowers. That's a fawn, but that is a not a good fawn to count on, because if we draw a flower, we're done. So I would probably play
5 bamboos.
concealed all pung. I mean all chow. Concealed all
White
chow.
dragon.
Concealed all chow should be
2
2
bamboos.
fawn. We need another fawn in here though. So I'd probably
1
peel
bamboo.
off one of these suits.
1
Probably
bamboo.
okay, we're going to pass because we need to get value in here. There's a 3. So let's let the cracks go at the moment. Let's see. We have a
2
very
characters.
low value hand here right now. If we do concealed all chow, that's going to be 2. Until we get a flower, we may
1
not be able to
character.
win this one. So we need to wait and see if we
South
can.
wind.
I think if you self pick your
2
winning
dots.
tile, that is a fawn, and that may be what we have to do.
4
Self pick your winning
characters.
hand as a concealed hand. That is a fawn. So let me open up.
East wind.
I'm gonna go back to that player reference.
8 bamboos.
Let's see here. I'm a little rusty with
Golden
scoring.
dragon.
Let's see here.
Pun. 4 bamboos. East
Self
wind.
pick is 1 fawn. So if we pick our winning tile,
6
that will be a
characters.
fawn. If we do all chow, that will be a fawn. And if we have right now no flowers as a
South
fawn, we are in South seat,
2
so we need a
characters.
number 2 flower. If we get a number 2 flower,
West
that
wind.
could be a fawn as well. At the moment, we have 2
Pun.
pair. Okay, look at that. We've
6
got
bamboos.
a very expensive hand
3
building over
characters.
there. Okay, there's a potential chow. Let's let this 9 bam go.
9 bamboo.
So there's a 2, 3 potential chow, 3, 4, 5
Pun.
chow, pair 8. We have a 1, 2 potential
7
chow,
bamboos.
isolated 5, 7, 8,
bamboos.
9 potential
2
chow.
bamboos.
So I don't want to break a chow to make a chow, so we're going to pass. There's a 2 dot, another pair in there. Let's let the 5 go.
5 dots.
We could switch to all pung, and that is 3 fawn. So I think that's what I would do. 3 bam, pair, 8 crack pair, 2 dot pair. There's 1 out and a 9 dot. I would pung. We're going to switch to
White
all.
dragon.
We're going to switch to all pung. All pung is a 3 fawn.
4 characters.
Okay, there's another pair. Oh my goodness. Maybe we can
1
do
dot.
7 pair here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 pair. There are 2
North
4
wind.
bams out. There's 1 5 bam out
Red dragon.
and no 8 dots. So probably the 4 bam
5 characters.
could potentially go.
5 dots.
We might be able to do 7 pair, which is a 4 fawn hand. Or we can just start to pung. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Red dragon.
The 2 bam could be our pair.
6 dots.
The 4 bam is really the weakest tile
Red dragon.
because there are 2 out. There's the 8.
4 bamboos.
We're ready on the 7 pair hand with a 5 bam.
7 bamboos.
So we need a 5 bam for 7 pair.
2 dots.
5 bam, 1 is out. We're going to pass.
8 bamboos.
We need a 5 bam. Ooh. Oh, there's a 6 out and there's a 5 out. Oh, it doesn't really matter. It's
6
arbitrary.
bamboos.
They're both efficiency tiles. Since there are 2 4
3
bams
dots.
out, I think maybe we'll see the
Oh.
5.
5 dots.
4 dots.
Pug.
Oh, thank you for being here, Sophie. We'll be
7
back
characters.
every Thursday. We're going to do Hong Kong
3
Mahjong on
bamboos.
Thursdays now.
4 dots.
Sleep tight.
5 characters.
We're looking for a 5 bam.
West wind.
1 dot.
6 dots. 3 dots.
We need a 5 bam.
5 bamboos.
There it is. Mahjong.
Mahjong.
We got 7 pair. That's nice. 7 pair is kind of hard. Okay, so 5 fawn, 7 pair, no flowers. So that was really nice. We're going to click play again so we can keep the table going. Thank you for playing, Wes. Come join us again if you like. That was a nice hand. 7 unique pair, no flowers. There's Mr. Wes again. So let's seat him. Thank you for the kudos. Good night, Sophie. Okay, we just need one more player. So does anybody have any questions about Hong Kong Mahjong? Let's see, explain one more time what an efficiency tile is, okay? So when you're looking at the tiles, let me assign this player here. When you're looking at the tiles, here we go. We got a fourth player. The closer you get to the center of the 9 tile range, the more efficient it is. So for example, if you have a 1 dot, you can only go up 1, 2, 3. If you have a 5 though, you can go down 2 or up 2. So you can do 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7. So you have a lot
7
more
characters.
flexibility, a lot more efficiency. So the closer you are to the center of the number range, the more efficient the tile. Okay, now we are in west
9
seat. We have a pair north and a west here. I think I would look for
9
maybe a half
characters.
flush. I'm thinking half flush. We could pung the
West
north,
wind.
and then we have 2 potential blocks here.
4
Let's say 2,
characters.
3 potential chow, 4, 6, or 6,
8
8.
characters.
Okay, we want, oh, now we have 3 pair though. We might be able to
8
switch to all
characters.
pung again. We have 3 pair, 1 more pair, and then I would switch to all
Southwind.
pung. If you have 4 pair, shoot for all pung. If you have 3 pair or less, obviously you want to
One
look more for
dragon.
chows. So we just need
6
another pair in
characters.
here to see. I would just continue to
4
hold
characters.
the dots probably.
6
5,
characters.
6 could be 2 potential chows. We're in West Seton. We
Red
have a number
dragon.
1 flower.
Pung.
So like the 5, 6 here,
5
those are efficient.
characters.
The 2, not efficient at all. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. Oh, there's another pair in there. So now we
8
have
dots.
4 blocks, 5 bam, 6 bam, 3 dot north. I would pung.
White dragon.
So we're going to switch to all pung now. And that way we can leverage the
East
pairs.
wind.
So we're going to try to do
4
all pung.
characters.
We're waiting for
4 characters.
these tiles to go down. Anywhere there's a pung, that's a pair. That is a
3
potential pung.
characters.
Any pair is a potential pung.
2 bamboos. North wind.
Okay, let's pung.
Pung.
And then now we still need a pair in here. And I want to make
West
sure that
wind.
my pair tile is not an honor.
North wind.
I don't want my pair to be an honor, waiting on an honor. So probably the
East
green
wind.
dragon will go.
1 bamboo.
Oh, that's cool, Linda. This is a fun game. I enjoy it.
Pung.
It's
2 dots.
liberating because you have total freedom in what you play.
South wind.
4 blocks in a pair, whatever you want, depending on the value
7
at the
bamboos.
table, of course. We're going to pass because we're playing all pung.
South wind.
3 characters.
Okay, we are in West Seat. We have a 1, 2 flower. So these flowers have no value for us.
2 bamboos.
We need to
7
pung.
bamboos.
We need to pung. Okay, so let's let this dragon go. Somebody may pung
Green
that.
dragon.
I thought somebody was going to pung that.
Green dragon.
1 character.
So we now just wait and see for when our tiles come
Pung.
down. Oh, Wes.
9 dots.
Terminals. 1s and 9s are called terminals. Looks like he could be going for a big hand, but he could be doing all pung.
West wind. 6 characters.
Don't need that.
7 characters.
South wind.
Two dots.
There's a big hesitation on
Wow.
that 2.
4
Okay, now they
bamboos.
have that 3. We're going to pass. That 3 dot, that red dragon is here in a pung. This
Red
3 dot
dragon.
may be our pair because there's a 3 dot in a chow right here.
8 characters.
So we want to keep that in mind. Not that there's much we can do about it.
7 dots.
If a 3 dot is discarded, we could
bamboos.
pung. We're going to pung.
Pung.
So now let's let the 2 go because it's
2
been
dots.
discarded, plus it's in a chow. So the value for our hand is that it's going to be all
4
pung.
bamboos.
We still need a pair in here. So it'd be really nice to get another pair in case that 3 dot might be our pair. We'll see.
5 characters.
I would love to draw
5
4, 5,
bamboos.
6, or let's see, 2 cracks, 7. No 2. Let's let the 7 go because
7
it's
dots.
out right there. It's okay to mix
4
suits
bamboos.
with all chow.
Seven bamboos. 5 characters.
We don't want to hold an honor tile
East
there.
wind.
Kong.
Um,
Green dragon.
Three bamboos.
okay, we need to
Four
pair up
bamboos.
here. Okay, now 8 is out.
8 dots.
Okay, we're getting in. See where these dark tiles are? We're not going to be able to pick into
White
those.
dragon.
The last tile is right here.
7
We will not be
characters.
able to pick into
9
that flower wall
characters.
there. There we go.
2 characters.
We've got our pair now. Pair or pung. So we're good to go in a nick of
Pung.
time here. There are 3 more picks. We have 1 discard.
3 characters.
1 discard.
8 bamboos.
9 dot. Just got tossed.
9 dots. Pung.
Oh, that was a
7
surprise.
dots.
That was just thrown.
8 characters.
Eight dots.
We need to pung one of these here so we can be ready to win. We have 2 more picks. 2 more picks.
7 characters.
So Wes over here is
8
going for all pung,
bamboos.
it looks like. 3 was just thrown.
3 bamboos.
Green dragon.
Oh, that's painful. That could have been a
8
pung.
bamboos.
You see that green, green, green.
3 characters.
That's painful. Okay, there we go.
4
Hopefully
dots.
that will give somebody
Mahjong.
Mahjong. Yep, it did. We just got ready to win. This is going to be expensive. This is a half flesh dragon pung. So this was painful here. Negative 32 points. And I discarded it. That's a 5 fawn hand. That's big. Let's go ahead and play here. Why don't you use the entire wall? It's part of the game. It's called, because they block out the number of tiles that make up a hand. That's why it's called a ghost wall, or there's another name for it that I don't want to use, but it's made up of 7 tiles. It's a replenishing flower wall, which is one of 4 variations. Not all Hong Kong Mahjong games use that kind of a wall. In most games, the flower wall, you just pick the tile from the back of the wall and you deplete all the tiles in the game. That's how I was taught, and when I play, that's how I play. But there are 3 variations of the flower wall. And in this online here at Mahjong Time, it is called, it is a replenishing flower wall, meaning it's always made up of 7 stacks or 14 tiles. So if you get a replacement tile, it's going to use the last tile from the wall to make up for it. So you can see right here, somebody had a flower, so they replenished it with this tile right here. See my mouse over here? So there's always 14 tiles in the flower wall. Okay, so we need to find value here. We have 2 pair. We have more BAMs than we do any other suit. We've got dragons in our seat wind. So we're going to try to go for
2 characters.
maybe a half flush or all pung. We've got a long way to go. This is going to be a long shot hand because we've got 4 dots. We had 2 cracks and only 5 BAMs,
Ciao.
BAM tiles. So we have a long way to go.
South wind.
Edna, the tiles are blacked
4
out,
bamboos.
or they're darker because they signify the flower wall, which is a
6
replenishing
characters.
wall. And we will not be picking into those tiles other than to get a flower replacement or a
6
Kong
characters.
replacement. So that's a replacement wall, basically.
Red dragon.
It's a supplement. It's the
9
flower wall.
characters.
It's also called ghost wall.
2 dots.
So looks like we're going to be playing half flush.
2
We are
bamboos.
playing at a table with a 3 fawn minimum, which means we need
North
to
wind.
have value in the hand. One
Oh.
way we can get value here is to play a half flush, which is 1 suit
dot.
with winds and dragons. There we have a pair now of
3
east.
dots.
That's going to be our seat wind. We're in east seat, so we're going to get value there. It's also the wind of the round, so that'll be really
9
nice if we can get a
characters.
pung of east.
5 bamboos.
Okay, we don't want
7
cracks.
characters.
3 dots.
We have 2
1
offsuit tiles.
bamboo.
We need to let these go.
1 bamboo.
There's a 1 bam. Even though
6
2 are
dots.
out, I'm going to keep it because we could maybe use it for a chow.
Chow.
There are 2 bams and a 3 out, so we need to keep an eye on that.
Green dragon.
This 1 bam will probably be a discard, but we have 1
4
offsuit tile that we
bamboos.
need to let go of anyway.
3 bamboos.
Okay, so let's let that go first.
5 characters.
Then we'll let this go here. So if an
6
east
dots.
goes down, we'll pung, and then we need to pair
3
up.
bamboos.
And we're at the mercy of the wall with these single honors here.
6 dots.
Okay, we need
2
bams.
characters.
If a 7 or a 9 go
North
down,
wind.
I think if a 9 goes down, I would pung.
1 dot.
If a 7 goes down, I would not pung. I would rather use them as chow
1
tiles.
character.
We could do 5, 6, 7, or 6,
Pung.
7, 8, 7, 8, 9.
South wind.
Okay, so Joey,
White
he
dragon.
must have valued honors paired up because this is a
4 bamboo.
3 fawn table. He's going to need some value
8
in there.
characters.
When you mix a chow and a pung in different suits, you're
Pung.
going to drive your value down. So he must have valued
Red
honors.
dragon.
He's also, at the moment, has no
4
flowers. No flowers is 1 fawn. Okay, so now we
Pung.
have a potential chow 4, 5.
5 dots.
So there's a pair. We have a pair in there now. Let's let the dragon go.
Red dragon.
So the 1 bam is our pair. There are 2 out, so that's fine.
8 bamboos.
We have a 4, 5 potential chow, 2 potential pungs, or 2 potential chows. We have a pair of east that could be a
East
pung.
wind.
There it is, pung.
Pung.
Now let's throw the white dragon.
White dragon.
Now if the 7 and 9 go down, I would
3
pung.
dots.
I would pung those and then maybe be ready on a 3 or 6 bam. There are 3 bams out, so that's going to be tough.
1 dot.
I don't see any 6 bams though.
6 characters.
6 dots.
8 bamboos.
That's the second 8 bam.
7 characters.
We could potentially do a 7, 8, 9
8
chow
bamboos.
in here. Let's chow.
Chow.
And now we're ready to
West
win
wind.
on a 3 or 6 bam.
4 characters.
Because we have a pung of east, a chow 7, 8, 9 exposed, 7, 8, 9 chow in our hand, and then a
Chow.
4, 5 potential chow and a pair of ones.
7 bamboos.
So we're looking for a 3 or 6
2
bam.
characters.
3 or 6 bam to
White
win.
dragon.
6 characters.
We need 3 or 6 bam to win. A half flush. With
1
our,
dot.
this will be a nice hand because we have our seat
3
wind
characters.
pung, and that's the wind of the round.
Mahjong.
Oh, somebody got it. Oh, we had a really nice hand. Let's see, what do they, oh, they have their 3 fawn. They have all chow. They have their own flower and their own season. I'm going to click play again real quick so we can keep the table. That was a nice win. I was hoping for that hand. We would have had a really big one. A really big win there. Hopefully we'll get to play at least 2 more. All right, so East, Joey, and Wes, thank you so much for joining me at the table. They're holding their own. We need 1 more player here. Oh. Okay. Oh, here we go. All right, let's see what we can do here. Oh, we have a dragon pair. Any Pung of Dragons is a value. You get a fawn for that. We're in East Seat. I would go for cracks and honors, the Winds and Dragons.
4
So
bamboos.
we could maybe chow 4-5, Pung the 7, Pung the red, Pung the
1
west,
bamboo.
and then we just need to pair up.
Red dragon.
Or there we go. We'll Pung.
Pung.
We'll let the 6 go.
6 bamboos. 9 characters.
Those hands in the
Northwind.
presentation are all just examples. There are a lot of permeations. You have
8
total
characters.
freedom. And I would not chow with that. I would rather use that for a Pung. So let's let the 5 dot go. You just
5
have total freedom. Those were just examples.
Chow. 6 bamboos.
So we're looking to Pung or chow, I guess.
6 bamboos.
I probably would Pung in here.
West wind.
Okay, let's Pung.
Pung. 8 dots.
We need a pair in here still.
4 characters.
Okay, let's Pung.
Pung.
Let's let the north go since it's out.
North wind. 8 bamboos.
West wind.
We need 6 crack green dragon. We need a pair.
9 bamboos.
East
East
can
wind.
go.
5 characters.
East or green, either one.
East wind. 5 characters.
Oh, we're gonna have a naked wait. We could chow. Oh, let's chow.
Chow.
Okay, this is called a naked wait. We're waiting
Green
for one
dragon.
tile. One
Pung.
tile. There's a chow with a 5, 6, 7 that we just
characters.
exposed. So will a 7 come out?
Pung.
We don't know. But
5
any
characters.
crack is going to be a risky discard. We need a 7 crack.
1 dot.
Oh, yeah, this is called a naked wait
7 bamboos.
because we're sitting here all by ourselves waiting for a pair
8
tile.
bamboos.
This is not ideal at all. Who knows where that 7
4
is?
dots.
If we get a 1,
2 characters.
if we get a 1 or a
8
9,
bamboos.
I would swap that out with a 1 or a 1.
1 character.
Oh, now there's a 1 and a 9 out. Okay,
Oh.
we're just going to stay put. We're just going
4
to
bamboos.
stay put with the 7 because all the tiles are out. 1, 2,
1
3,
character.
4, 5. North is out.
North wind.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
3 bamboos.
8. Okay, I don't. Oh, there's 1 8 crack out. All the cracks. At least one of
7
every
bamboos.
tile is out. 1 7 crack is out.
1 dot.
Okay, I would love that,
Green
Edna.
dragon.
Hong Kong Mahjong is a lot of fun.
7
I do
bamboos.
enjoy playing with Winds and Dragons in the hand.
East wind.
That would be awesome.
White dragon.
We're looking for a 7. Here's the 9. Let's let the 7 go.
7 characters.
It's really 6 1 half dozen the other,
White
but maybe the
dragon.
9 will come out now that there's 2 7s out, an 8
7
and a 9.
characters.
Oh, shoot. Oh, there it was.
Red dragon.
Okay, the 9. There we go, Mahjong. That's going to be a pretty hand here. This is a good one. Half flush, dragon pung. We did draw our flower just now. And we also picked self-picked. We got our winning tile. So that was a 6-fine hand. Really nice hand there. Hopefully we'll get to squeeze in at least one more game. If you want to know more about Hong Kong Mahjong, there's a link in the video description below to a wiki article with it. Okay, so let's do east, south, west. Okay. We're just waiting for one more player here. No worries, Edna. Someone will join here. We're just waiting for one more player. Does anybody have any questions? We're going to be playing Hong Kong Mahjong on Thursdays now. I hope you enjoy the variation, the variety. It's a nice variety on the channel, so I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. I don't know who this player is, but we'll just do it anyhow. All right, we have a mixture. Look at this, almost 4 of everything. Okay, so pair 6, pair 1. We need a 3-fon minimum.
North wind.
We only have 2 winds. We're in north seat. You see that north
9
there?
bamboos.
East is the wind of the round. We're going to pass. Okay, there's a 3. Let's let the 1 go.
1 dot.
We might need to do half
North
flush with
wind.
cracks and sacrifice the 6 dot
6
pair.
dots.
Okay, we're gonna let that go because we got to get to a 3-fon value. When you mix
One
suits,
character.
you drive your score is going to be low. That we could maybe pung
Pung.
because it's our major suit. Let's throw the 9 since it's out.
9 bamboos. West wind.
7 bamboos. 8 bamboos.
Okay, 6. Well, we need to let these BAMs go
7
regardless
bamboos.
because we're going to probably
1
try to play
bamboo.
cracks.
1 bamboo.
So we need,
East wind.
oh good, we got
8
an honor.
bamboos.
We're in north seat. We have a pair west. That is
2
not our
bamboos.
seat wind, but we could still pung for a
2
half
bamboos.
flush. We're trying to do cracks and honors.
8 bamboos.
Where can you find a sheet for scoring? In the video description
5
below,
bamboos.
there should be a link to a wiki article
1 character.
where there's a download section for this player reference.
5 bamboos. 5 bamboos.
We got another crack.
5 dots.
Okay, so we could pung the 3, chow the 7, 8, 9
Chow.
here, pung west.
South wind.
It'd be really nice to get another
6
number
bamboos.
tile in here.
5 dots.
Okay, there we go. There we go. We're
6
looking better now.
bamboos.
You can
White
see that things
dragon.
can change pretty quickly here.
White dragon. 3 dots.
Okay, there. That looks
6
much better.
dots.
Now we have 2 pair. Those could become pungs, or we could use them as chow tiles.
Green dragon.
I think I'd rather pung, but we could do 3, 4,
9
5.
dots.
3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5. Are there any 4s
Green
out?
dragon.
I don't see any 4 cracks out.
6 dots.
We're ready to go here. Excuse me.
4 characters.
North wind. 4 characters.
Okay. We still need a I guess we could go ahead and, you know what? I'm going to pass. I think I'd rather pung.
3 bamboos.
The west could be our pair.
7 characters.
Or we could pung 3, pung west, and chow with 7, 8, 9. This is an example of the flexibility that you have with this version. You can just
East wind.
do whatever you want. You've got total freedom.
8 bamboos.
Doesn't guarantee
3
a win though.
bamboos.
We still have 1 discard here.
7 characters.
We can only chow from the player on our left. That would have been nice to get a 7, 8, 9 there.
South wind. 5 bamboos.
Okay, 1 can
1
go.
bamboo. East wind.
4 bamboos. Pung. 9 dots.
Okay, here we go.
1
Excuse me.
7 characters.
Oh no, we need that for chow. Shoot. Okay, 2 7s are out. There's a 7 right there. There's only 1 more. There's only 1 more 7.
8 characters.
And somebody has it, I think. Somebody has a 7 crack.
7 bamboos.
Okay, so that's good. We just got a
South
9.
wind.
So now we could maybe pung the 9 and not
2
worry about the
characters.
7, because there are 3 out.
Chow.
Okay, now that looks intense.
Red dragon.
Anytime someone has 3 blocks in 1 suit out,
8 dots.
that is really going to be a risky discard.
6 bamboos.
There's a thing called Mahjong.
Red dragon.
It means 9 showing. And
1 bamboo.
if you discard the winning tile and it's a
8
crack
dots.
and they're in all 1 suit, you will be heavily penalized.
Green dragon.
You basically pay for the table, I'm pretty
4
sure.
bamboos.
2 dots.
We're holding their tiles probably.
Kong. 9 dots.
5 dots.
We're probably blocking each other here. Oh, Wes. No, that's not Wes. Oh, Wes on the other side there. He had some. Okay, here we have a chow hand. This is all chow. They have their flower. They self-picked their winning tile. And they picked from the flower wall and won. And that's why they have 4 fawn. So that was a nice win right there. Over here, look, 6, 7, 8, 9, ready on a 6 or a 9 for a full flush. Joey, that's beautiful. 6 or 9. And here we have a 9. So the 6 would have done it for him. Here's Wes with a pair of 6s. He's ready to win on a double weight. 6 crack or 7 dot for all pung. Well done, Wes. All right. That is going to do it for this live stream. Hong Kong Mahjong. Let's Play live stream. Thursdays from 1 to 3. It's a great game to enter into the world of Asian versions of Mahjong. It is one of the easiest ones to learn, and it will shorten your learning curve for any other version of the game. So I hope you give it a try, and I hope you enjoyed the session. Let me know if you decide to play and join us. You're welcome to join us at Mahjong Time on Thursdays and play at the table. We can talk about strategy and how to work with hand development, tile efficiency, making decisions on what kind of a hand to play, when to push, when to fold, all those things. So we'll be back for more Hong Kong Mahjong. Thank you, Joey and Wes, for joining the tables. It was fun. We'll see you again tomorrow from 5 to 6 p.m. for Simply Social Let's Play live stream, American style, and then we'll do Beat the Pro from 6 to 9. Hope to see you there. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. Click the little gray bell if you do. That way you'll get notification for when I post new videos, and you won't miss an opportunity to learn a new strategy or pick up an insight to the game that could give you an advantage at the table. Between now and the next video, may all your picks be keepers.